Yirmiyahu. These are the words of Yirmiyahu, the son of Hilkiah, one of the Kohanim, living in Anatot, in the territory of Benjamin. The word of Adonai came to him during the days of Yoshiyahu, the son of Ammon, king of Yehuda, in the 13th year of his reign. It also came during the days of Joachim, the son of Yeshayahu, king of Yehuda, continuing until the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Yoshiyahu, king of Yehuda, right up into the time of Yerushalayim was carried away captive in the 5th month. Here is the word of Adonai that came to me. Before I formed you, in the womb I knew you. Before you were born, I separated you from myself. I have appointed you to be a prophet to the nations. I said, "Oh, Adonai Elohim, I don't even know how to speak. I'm just a child." But Adonai said to me, "Don't say I'm just a child, for you will go to whomever I send you. You will speak whatever I order you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you," says Adonai, "to rescue you." Then Adonai put out his hand and touched my mouth, and Adonai said to me, "There, I have put my words in your mouth. Today I have placed you over nations and kingdoms, to uproot and tear down, to destroy and to demolish, to build and to plant." The word of Adonai came to me asking, "Yirmiyahu, what do you see?" I answered, "I see a branch from an almond tree, shaped." Then Adonai said to me, "You have seen well, because I am watching, choked, to fulfill my word." The second time the word of Adonai came to me asking, "What do you see?" I answered, "I see a caldron tilted away from the north over a fire fanned by the wind." Then Adonai said to me, "From the north calamity will boil over onto everything living in the land, because I will summon all the families of the kingdoms of the earth," says Adonai. "They will come and sit each one on his throne at the entrance of the gates of Yerushalayim, opposite its walls, all the way around, and opposite all the cities of Yehuda. I will pronounce my judgments against them for all their wickedness in abandoning me, offering incense to other gods and worshiping what their own hands made. But you, dress for action, stand up and tell them everything I order you to say. When you confront them, don't break down, or I will break you down in front of them. For today, you see, I have made you into a fortified city, a pillar of iron, a wall of bronze against the whole land, against the kings of Yehuda, against its princes, against its Kohanim and the people of the land. They will fight against you, but they will not overcome you. For I am with you," says Adonai, "to rescue you." The word of Adonai came to me, "Go and shout in the ears of Yerushalayim. This is what Adonai says. I remember your devotion when you were young, how as a bride you loved me, how you followed me through the desert, through a land not sown. Israel is set aside for Adonai, the first fruits of his harvest. All who devour him will incur guilt. Evil will befall them," says Adonai. "Hear the word of Adonai, house of Yaakov, and all the families of the house of Israel. Here is what Adonai says. What did your ancestors find wrong with me to make them go so far as from me, to make them go after nothing and become themselves nothing? They didn't ask, 'Where is Adonai, who brought us out of the land of Egypt, who led us through the desert, through a land of waste and ravines, through a land drought and dark death shadows, through a land where no one travels and where no one ever lived? I brought you into a fertile land to enjoy its fruit and all its good things. When you entered, you defiled my land and made my heritage loathsome. The Kohanim didn't ask, 'Where is Adonai?' Those who dealt with the Torah did not know me. The people's shepherds rebelled against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal and went after things of no value. So again I state my case against you," says Adonai, "and state it against your grandchildren too. Cross to the coast of the Kittayim and look and send to the Kedar and observe closely. See if anything like this has happened before. Has a nation ever exchanged its gods and theirs are not gods at all. Yet my people have exchanged their glory for something without value. Be aghast at this, you heavens, shudder in absolute horror, says Adonai, for my people have committed two evils. They have abandoned me, fountain of the living water, and dug themselves cisterns, broken cisterns, and can hold no water. Is Israel a slave before its Sephdom? If not, why has he become plunder? The young lions are roaring at him. How loudly are they roaring? They desolate his country, demolishing and depopulating his cities. The people of Noph and Tachpanhes feed on the crown of your head. Haven't you brought this on yourselves by abandoning Adonai, your God, when he led you along the way? If you go to Egypt, what's in it for you? Drinking water from the Nile? If you go to Ashur, what's in it for you? Drinking water from the Euphrates River? Your own wickedness will correct you. Your own backsliding will convict you. You will know and see how bad and bitter it was to abandon Adonai, your God, and how fear of me is not in you, says Adonai Elohim Svaot. For long ago I broke your yoke when I snapped your chains and said, I won't sin. Yet on every high hill, under every green tree, you sprawled and prostituted yourself. But I planted you as a choice vine, a seed fully tested and true. How did you degenerate into a wild vine for me? Even if you scrub yourselves with soda and plenty of soap, the stain of your guilt is still there before me, says Adonai Elohim. How can you say I am not defiled? I have not pursued the Baalim. Look at your conduct in the valley. Understand what you have done. You are a restive young female camel, running here and there, wild, accustomed to the desert, sniffing the wind and her lust. Who can control her when she's in heat? Males seeking her need, not wearying themselves for a mating season, they will find her. Stop before your shoes wear out and your throat is dry from thirst. But you say, no, it's hopeless. I love these strangers. I'm going after them. Just as a thief is ashamed when caught, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their leaders, their Kohanim, and their prophets, who say to a log, you are my father, and to a stone, you gave us birth. For they have turned their backs to me instead of their faces. But when trouble comes, they will plead, rouse yourselves and save us. Where are your gods that you made for yourselves? Let them rouse themselves if they can save you when trouble comes. Yehuda, you have many gods, as you have cities. Why argue with me? You have all rebelled against me, says Adonai. In vain, I have struck down your people. They would not receive correction. Your own sword has devoured your prophets like a marauding lion. You of this generation, look at the word of Adonai. Have I been a desert to Israel, or a land of oppressive darkness? Why do my people say, we're free to roam. We will no longer come to you. Does a girl forget her jewelry, or a bride her wedding sash? Yet my people have forgotten me days beyond numbering. You are so clever in your search for love that the worst of women can learn from you. Right there on your clothing is the blood of innocent poor, although you never caught them breaking and entering. Yet concerning all these things you say, I am innocent. Surely he's no longer angry at me. Here, I am passing sentence on you, because you say, I have done nothing wrong. You cheapen yourself. When you change course so often, you will be disappointed by Egypt too, just as you were disappointed by Ashur. Yes, you will leave him too, with your hands on your head in shame. For Adonai rejects those whom you trust. For them you will gain nothing. Adonai says, if a man divorces his wife and she leaves him and marries another man, then if the first one marries her again, that land will be completely defiled. But you prostituted yourselves with many lovers, yet you want to return to me, says Adonai. Raise your eye to the bare hills. Take a look where you have not had sex. You sat by the roadsides awaiting for them like a nomad in the desert. You have defiled the land with your prostitution and wickedness. For this reason the showers have been withheld. There has been no rain in the spring. Still you maintain a whore's brazen look and refuse to be ashamed. Didn't you just now cry to me, my father? You are my friend from my youth? Thinking, he won't bear a grudge forever, will he? He shouldn't maintain it right to the end. You say this, but you keep doing evil things. You just do whatever you want. In the days of Yoshiyahu, the king Adonai asked me, have you seen the things that the backsliding Israel has been doing? She goes up from every bare hill and under every green tree and prostitutes herself there. I said that after she has done all these things, she would return to me, but she hasn't returned. Meanwhile, her unfaithful sister Yehuda has been watching. I saw that even through backsliding, Israel had committed adultery, so that I had not sent her away and given her a divorce document. Unfaithful Yehuda, her sister, was not moved to fear. Instead, she too went and prostituted herself. The ease with which Israel prostituted herself defiled the land, as she committed adultery with stones and with logs. Yet in spite of all this, her unfaithful sister Yehuda has not returned to me wholeheartedly. She only makes pretense of it, says Adonai. Then Adonai said to me, backsliding Israel has proved herself more righteous than unfaithful Yehuda. Go and proclaim these words towards the north. Return, backsliding Israel, says Adonai. I will not frown on you, for I am merciful, says Adonai. I will not bear a grudge forever. Only acknowledge your guilt, that you have committed crimes against Adonai your God, that you were promiscuous with strangers under every green tree, that you not paid attention to my voice, says Adonai. Return, backsliding children, says Adonai, for I am your master. I will take you, one from a city, two from a family, and bring you to Zion. I will give you shepherds after my own heart, and they will feed you with knowledge and understanding. And says Adonai, in those days when your numbers have increased in the land, people will no longer talk about the Ark of the Covenant of Adonai. They won't think about it. They won't miss it. And they won't make another one. When the time comes, they will call to Jerusalem the throne of Adonai. All the nations will be gathered there in the name of Adonai to Jerusalem. No longer will they live according to their stubbornly evil hearts. In those days, the house of Yehuda will live together with the house of Israel. They will come together from the lands of the north, and lands I gave their ancestors as their heritage. I thought that I would like to put you among the sons with inheritance rights, and give you a pleasant land, the best heritage of all the nations. I thought that you would call me my father, and never stop following. But like a faithless woman who betrays her husband, you, house of Israel, have betrayed me, says Adonai. A sound is heard on the heights, the house of Israel crying, pleading for mercy, because they have perverted their way and forgotten Adonai their God. Return, backsliding children, and I will heal your backsliding. Here we are coming to you, for you are Adonai our God. Indeed, the hills have proved illusion, likewise the orgies of the mountains. Truly, the salvation of Israel is in Adonai our God. But from our youth, the shameful things, idolatry, has devoured the fruit of our ancestors' work, their flocks, herds, their sons and daughters. Let us lie down in our shame. Let our disgrace cover us, for we have sinned against Adonai our God, both we and our ancestors, from our youth until today. We have not paid attention to the voice of Adonai our God.